This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there. I'm the brother Dhamma Agibar, here with another lesson, Lord willing, to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai. All right, I started this lesson again, which this is going to be a land back off a lesson I did yesterday, dealing with the least of the flock drawing out, Babylon, America into this third world war. And I have some more information of a video that I came across today, which was a great video, which I suggest brothers should watch. I think it's from, I think the guy, what's his name? Danny Haifong. And he has this, this professor, or what is he? Some Asian professor, but he's basically going in to how, this third world war is getting ready to kick off. And he's saying exactly, what we learned from the elders and the apostles through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, of how, the least of the flock, those tiny tops, the 1948ers, which I'm going to read in Jeremiah the 49th chapter, of the least of the flock drawing America out into this third world's war. And, and it's a great video. I'm only going to play about 6 minutes, but hey, the first 6 minutes is all I need to, edify and get straight to the point with this lesson. And it's going exactly to what I was reading yesterday in an article. And this is just, further proof in the spirit that, we're just in these times, and the things that he's going to say are going to, a prophecy says everything. And everything that we've been prophesying and preaching you prophetically, this guy is literally saying word for word, what prophecy entails, which shows you that, hey, that, the elders and the apostles, man, definitely are men of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and the spirit is working through them, and which is working through us. And we're out here telling you, prophesying, telling you, the things that's going to happen before they happen. All right. And this third world's woe, and this third woe is what we like to prophesy and tell you is the third world's war, which is coming. And it's right here at the door. So we'll play some of this video. I'm going to bring out some of the same scriptures I brought out yesterday, but hey, it's just, hey, we're in these times. So this is the video from Danny Haifong. It says, World War III begins this month. Israel-Iran war detonates. And I know yesterday, what's today? I think today's the 8th or the 7th. So it was basically the anniversary of the October 7th attack that happened over there in Israel from Hamas, which, this is the anniversary of it. So, so these devils are looking to go to war. But anyways, I'm going to play the first 6 minutes of this video. I'm going to stop it here and there and bring out these precepts to show you that, what we've been telling you is on point with prophetically, and that these the least of the flock is definitely going to draw out Babylon, Esau, Edom into this third world war conflict, and it's going to eventually involve Russia and China and their allies, and America, the EU, NATO, and its allies. All right, so let's check it out. Damn it.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's your host, Danny Haifong. Please hit the like button as you come on. As you can see, I am joined by Professor Jiang Shui Qin. He is host of Predictive History. And what we're going to talk about is the...
Hey, and what's another word for predictive history is prophetic, prophecy. Being able to say something before it's going to happen. And, I know the elders and the apostles been saying this since back in 2007, 2008, when we first saw the apostles on the YouTube about, Gog and Magog being Russia, which is going to be a guard unto Iran, Persia. Eventually, that's going to bring in this third world war, So they've been speaking this and been prophesying it. And now we're just in the times to where we can see these things come into pass.
Countdown to the next Israel-Iran war. Round number 2 is soon upon us. It could be as soon as days away. Sources are saying that the next iteration of this conflict are going to be far bigger, and it could lead to a World War III scenario. And Professor Jiang is here to talk to us about how close we are to this unthinkable moment and the historical context that we need to know to help us understand not just the present, but the future to come. Professor Jiang, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for inviting me, Danny.
Great.
And you see, and one thing that this professor, and other people, people that, they can look at these situations and ultimately see how it's going to escalate to third war. But ultimately, we have the ability through prophecy and through the scriptures. We're the only ones that's pulling out these scriptures and showing you, which I'm going to show you, Ezekiel 38, second Ezra, the 16th chapter, Joel, the 3rd chapter, showing you how prophetically these things have already been, written to happen, so, what they saying just further confirms what the scriptures say, the scriptures are saying, and how prophetically we are on point with what we've been saying, starting with the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. God damn it, I hate when it does that shit.
It is great to be with you. Well, let's get right to it. Iran-Israel round 2. There's been a lot of talk about that conflict, that war happening again very soon. The U.S. has been building up to the end of these, or to the reinstatement of these snapback sanctions with military deployments that are getting bigger in the region. And Netanyahu on October 7th is selling war already. And I just want to play this for all of you, just so you all can see how he's doing this, selling war against Iran. Here we go.
Iran is developing now ballistic missiles that are intercontinental ballistic missiles for 8,000 kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got under their atomic guns, in New York City, in Target, Washington, Boston, Miami.
If you've ever covered your grays with box dyes, you know exactly how messy it gets, mixing chemicals, that rigid smell.
Boston, Miami, Mar-a-Lago. Okay, so
you saw that, right? You see this devil, right? You see, and this is how I'm gonna get it right now. How Jeremiah the 49th chapter is coming to pass, and you see, this has been the rhetoric that they've been saying for years now. Bibi Netanyahu been selling this shit for over 25 years, how Iran is going to produce a nuclear weapon. They're months away. They're days away. They're months away. They're days away. They're years away. And now he's telling you now they have, long-range missiles. Now they can fire into America, into Boston. And you see how he put Miami and Mar-a-Lago. What is Mar-a-Lago? That's Trump's golf course, I think, what it is. So you can see how, they're constantly pushing this idea of Iran being on the offensive, and how they're secretly producing these weapons that are finally going to be able to reach America, hit Mar-a-Lago. And he said Mar-a-Lago to ultimately to emphasize Trump within the whole situation. In the article, the lesson that I did yesterday, I read an article saying how Trump was basically saying how that they're ready to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities again, and how this time he's going to do it on behalf of Israel. And he was saying in an article yesterday in a lesson I did that I've done more for Israel and I've backed Israel more than any president ever before. And we are going to do this on behalf of Israel. You see? And that's prophecy coming to pass. And we've been explaining this over and over and over again. And this is Jeremiah 49:20. It says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that he hath taken against Edom. And his purpose is that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who's the least of the flock? This guy, Bibi Netanyahu, the tiny tops, man. All right, and how are they drawing America out into this conflict? By constantly pushing this idea that Iran is a threat. Iran is going to attack. Now they have, we bombed their nuclear facilities, but now they've produced new ones, and they're not stopping, and they're stubborn, and they're going to continue to produce uranium, and eventually, Israel, we're sitting ducks. They're going to bomb us. They're going to nuke us. They're going to eradicate us. They're going to genocide us. You know, and now they have missiles that can reach America. America, you have to step in. You have to do something. You see? And ultimately, you know, Trump and the West are totally on board with it. And it's going to eventually draw them into this conflict that's going to eventually involve Russia and China. And he's going to explain how, you know, Russia and China have a whole lot to lose if Israel and America can totally destabilize and destroy Iran and put a regime change in there, because a lot of their business and oil and, you know, a business flows through, you know, that Fertile Crescent, you know, the Levant region, through the Strait of Hormuz, through that area. And if America and Israel can shut that down, and America and the West and the EU and NATO can take total control over that vital key choke point right there through Iran, you know, they could ultimately, you know, destabilize and shut down Russia and China's and the BRICS capability of becoming this, you know, superpower that they want to be. So it's vital for them to try to gain control over Iran. But we know, you know, Russia and China, they really can't allow, and BRICS and these other nations, they can't allow America to take control over the Strait of Hormuz and have control over that choke point, because then they could have total economic rulership over, you know, all of the goods and services and business that flows through that area, you know, of the world, which is ultimately the center of the earth, pretty much. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And Basra is basically, you know, of course we know there's ancient Basra, but modern day Basra is America, the West. All right. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Egypt be as the heart of a woman in her pangs, because ultimately this is going to lead to this third world's conflict, which is ultimately going to lead to not only America being destroyed via nuclear destruction in this third world's war, but also the tiny tops, the land of Israel, the Holy Land, because it has to be cleansed and burned before the Lord brings back the true Israelites, the true inhabitants of that land.
I ask talents.
What the fuck is this, man? Fucking Satan.
Anyone who knows me knows I love
Fucking
Royal
Satan,
Kingdom,
man.
but not everyone knows why. Allow me to list the way.
Shut up, nigga.
Okay, so
All right, so back
So
to
Professor Zhang, he says all of this with a smile on his face. Talk to us about how close we are to round number 2, Israel-Iran war, and
remember that lesson I did yesterday. Trump basically said that they're getting ready to bomb Iran again. So it's already on the table. You know, if you watch the lesson I did yesterday, you know, he's already said that he's going to bomb Iran again. It's already on the table. It's already, like I read, what was that, Proverbs 21, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see, the Lord is making these chess moves. The Lord is putting these things in position to make them happen so that his purpose can be fulfilled.
how you come about making these kind of predictions as host of Predictive History.
Yeah, so I think that we're very close to the next Israel-Iran conflict. And as you say, everyone predicts that this conflict in the second iteration will be much worse, much more sustained, and it can draw in much more powerful forces. For example, Russia may be forced to be drawn into this conflict for its own geopolitical reasons. And we can expect that this war could last for a very long time. Last time there's a conflict, it was almost like a test run. It was only 12 days. But this time, it seems as though all the ingredients are in place for sustained war. So let's go over some of the ingredients. The first ingredient is the snapback sanctions. So the Europeans have said that, we've tried our best to reach a compromise with the Iranians, but they are recalcitrant, they're stubborn, they refuse to give up their nuclear testing program, and therefore we are forced to impose sanctions. The Iranians have recently paid back all of their outstanding foreign debt obligations, and Iran has been removed from the SWIFT system. You also have a series of interlocking treaties that have appeared this past month. So, for example, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan have signed a mutual defense pact. If any of these nations are attacked, the other nation is obligated to come to its defense. The United States has signed an agreement with Qatar, providing defense. Russia and Iran have signed an agreement as well. It's not a mutual defense pact. Russia is not obligated to come to Iran's defense if it is attacked, but Russia will provide other forms of support. And so what we're seeing almost is a replay of the months before World War I, the outbreak of World War I.
You see, and that's key, and that's vital, you know. So you see, there's already treaties in place to where if one is attacked, you know, other allies are going to have to eventually get involved once the attack is big enough and hits hard enough. Like you said, you got Saudi Arabia and what do you say, Pakistan, you know, and you got Russia and Iran who has pacts and deals together to where, you know, if one is attacked on a big enough scale, these other nations and other allies are going to eventually get involved, and China is going to eventually get involved. Because, like I said, you know, if you know, Iran falls and America, Israel, and the EU and its allies get control of that Strait of Hormuz and that area of that Fertile Crescent, that, you know, that all of that you know, that economic, you know, just that whole business area. You know, those different canals and how all that business and travel and trade flows through that area. Russia and China, you know, that's what I was going to say, because Russia and China have a lot of, that's how they get a lot of their natural resources, a lot of their energy, a lot of their gas and oil from Iran and different countries over there. And if the West is able to get control of that, hey, they're going to stall them out. They're going to choke them out. And this is why eventually you're going to see when it gets bad enough, they're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. You know, they're going to have to shut down that choke point of economic and trade there. So it's in Russia's best interest, it's in China's best interest that, you know, Iran doesn't fall. So they're going to have to eventually step in and get involved, man. So this is Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. See, and who's going to be let's talk about the Russian army, you know, having to be prepared for war and to be a guard unto who? It says, and all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, who is Persia? Iran, okay? Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Because like he said, you know, eventually once Russia get involved, you know, China is going to have to get involved, you know. Ethiopia and Libya, those other countries in the region that side with Iran and with Russia, you know, that got business deals, you know, etc., are all going to have to eventually get involved. You see, because there's too much at stake for these countries to lose if they are able to lose that you know, Iran and that particular area of business to the West and to EU and to NATO. It says, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar and of the north quarters, and all of his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You see, so Russia's going to have to eventually, they're going to eventually get involved. You see, like I said, China's going to have to eventually get involved in this conflict, because they can't just let Iran be swallowed and taken, you know, in that area. It's too vital. It's too important, you know, not only economically, but strategically. See?
When these nations were have these interlocking treaties, so that a small conflict, regional conflict that appeared in Sierra Leone quickly escalated to encompass all of Europe and most of the world. So I think a lot of ingredients are already in place for a massive escalation. It seems that whatever Iran does, the United States will see it as a provocation to attack Iran.
You see, like we've been saying, America, the West and Israel, they're looking for any reason to attack Iran. So this is how we know this war is not going to stop, man. They're going to always trying to find some excuse and be justified, and eventually coming against Iran. But it's ultimately because it's prophecy, it's prophetic, it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because the stage is being set.
If Israel attacks Iran, Iran will be forced to defend itself. And as a result, it will see all possible belligerents as targets. So Israel is a belligerent, but also we have to remember that the United States is enabling Israel by moving all these air tankers to the region, to Qatar. And so that enables Israel to do long distance strikes against Iran. So the United States is actively enabling Israel, and therefore Iran feels that it is empowered to attack U.S. bases in the region. But if it does that, then it would draw the United States into the war.
See, the least of the flock is going to draw them out. And we know that America is playing a huge hand in this whole escalation as well, but they're trying to sit back and act as if they're playing, the equalizer, and we're trying to negotiate and we're trying to come to the table. That's all bullshit. Don't believe none of that shit, because we already know through the spirit how it's going to end. And like I said, like the guy said, America is already, they're setting up, they got all these different, things in place to ground invade, to when, things get bad enough, they're likely, they're randomly just going to already be there, already positioned, already in place with what they need to have a full-fledged attack and, escalation on Iran, which is exactly what we need in the spirit, man. But as we can see, hey, the stage is all being set, and this is all through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man.
If it's forced, Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz. If it closes the Strait of Hormuz, that's going to do tremendous damage to the entire global economy. Most of East Asia depends on the Strait of Hormuz.
See, and this is why China is going to have to eventually get involved. They're not going to be able to just sit back and just let this shit escalate, because they're going to be hurt economically and financially as well. You see?
Or it's oil. And so if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the United States may be forced to send in ground troops in order to secure the Strait of Hormuz. And if it does that, then it's basically World War III. The United States is pot committed.
You see, because then once it gets to that level, all these other parties are going to have to get involved, especially if Iran shuts down the Strait of Hormuz. That's going to economically hurt every fucking body, man. It's going to bring famine and, more inflation, higher prices of gas and everything that flows through that place that comes here to the America, gas, natural resources, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of these countries are going to have to get involved because, like I said, that's a huge choke point of international trade and how shit flows through that little Strait of Hormuz into all the world. See?
In now because there's ground troops in the region. It cannot extricate itself.
Honestly?
So that's all I wanted to get on that. But like I said, it's a very good video if you watch the whole thing, but we ain't got time for that. But this is 2 Ezra 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourself with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. You see? Because why? This third world war is going to come to pass. It says, a sword is set upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it have begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? And what's that arrow that's going to be shot? These nuclear missiles, these ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. See? It says, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord and before the glory of his power. You see? Because ultimately the Lord is going to allow these nuclear missiles to be fired off, and mainly to eviscerate Babylon the Great, America. It's going to destroy the land of Israel, and, it's going to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a junker. But it's all going to, it's all going to happen through this third world war that we see getting ready to take place. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, which are these nuclear missiles. like BB said, Iran has long-range ICBM missiles that can be shot from Iran and hit Boston, Miami, New York, California, America. You see? And that's those arrows that, he's talking about. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. You see? And this is this is what this third world war is going to ultimately bring to pass, is this, these nuclear missiles being shot, and eventually the return of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. He's going to come and judge and make war. And hey, these nations are going to gather to fight this third world war and ultimately to be destroyed. All right, and I read this yesterday. I'm going to read it again. This is Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Now the weak are strong because these nations possess the nuclear missile now. You see? It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. See? And what's the harvest? Is basically this third world war, which is going to lead to the utter annihilation of all of these heathen nations that's going to be gathered together to fight each other in this third world war, in which Yahweh Shai is going to return in the midst of it to judge these nations, man. It says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Read Revelation, the 19th chapter. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. See? Because this is what's ultimately going to lead to these nations' downfall and their utter destruction, is this third world war. And like I said, watch the rest of the video. He brings out a lot of good information as well. But, for time's sake, I'm not going to go into all of that. But definitely watch it. He brings out a lot of information. That's good to know, But ultimately, that was the point I wanted to get out of this video, man. So, hey, the Lord willing, you were edified. The water to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you were edified. Until the next one, shalom.